How's it going, folks? Dylan here, back at the new do. I think this is like week 94 or 95 or something like that. But anyway, we're still moving fast, fast as possible. So I'm not doing time lapses, just finishing up little bits of odds and ends. The insulation is going to go up behind me along the exterior wall, a little bit in the bathroom, and then this here in the closet. We have picked up a ton of insulation back there that you can see in the back of the truck. That is all the insulation for the downstairs. It's a special insulation because everything is framed 24 inches on center. And get some nice gaps in between stuff here. So I did that, and less 2x4s. And that was, I was doing this all when 2x4s were stupid expensive, like $7 a 2x4. And so it was probably the right decision at the time. However, the thing they didn't tell you is that insulation that's 24 inches on center is really a lot more expensive than 16-inch on center insulation. Essentially, we're gonna be cleaning up quite a bit today. So one of the things we're gonna be cleaning up is just all the junk on the floor. That's all spread around everywhere. Just clean up every once in a while. I do this, just go through everything, clean it all up, organize again because I've lost the tools and misplaced tools. And then once we're cleaned up, then one thing I'm gonna do is pull out the paint sprayer, and I'm actually going to spray behind the 2x4s because, as you can see, I've got a little bit of water penetration. So I waterproof painted all this area underneath the window. And then so I think the water just went around. Essentially, this needs to be fully sealed on the inside before we throw the insulation in, and then don't go looking behind that wall again. So I'll probably do a time lapse of the cleanup just because it's kind of satisfying to see all the cleaning up happening. Been a little bit of a short week this week. It wasn't supposed to be, but a short week this week because of Thanksgiving, spending some time with families, and then wonderfully coming down with food poisoning right after those Thanksgiving holidays. So anyway, that's it's like Saturday at 2 o'clock, and I'm now just feeling kind of well enough to work on some stuff. I've called Earl several times, and but we're gonna be getting back at it. If you don't get that reference, you're gonna have to look it up.
Just want to make sure you're still paying attention.
because all of my exterior walls that are facing the concrete in the basement, all per local code have to be basically insulated with R21 minimum insulation down here in the basement, which means this basement is gonna be cozy, because even when I've had this uninsulated in the basement down here in 100-degree heat, it's like maybe 80 max in 100-degree heat. It's like 80 degrees down here. And even now it's like 24 degrees outside and it's maybe 50 down in the basement here, maybe 55. So it is very temperate. I'm very interested to see what the R21 insulation does in the basement. I think it's gonna be cozy as heck, even before I turn on the HVAC down here. So we'll see. Essentially, this is a insulation extravaganza. We are throwing in insulation anywhere and everywhere that needs it. One of the last areas that we're doing insulation in the upstairs is actually behind me. That is the separating wall between the other side of the duplex and this side of the duplex. To update this to modern fire code protection, I actually have to wallboard the entire area behind me. Up in the attic there to make a fire protection. So if ever a fire broke out on this side of the house, it doesn't immediately transfer to the other side of the house. Bought some insulation. The insulation I am actually going to throw up there, mainly just for soundproofing between the two units. There is some sound travelance that happens in between there. But not gonna be enough. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I did change my mind. I'm not gonna throw insulation on that weird little wall in between it. I'm just gonna wallboard it because I'm done caring about that so much. It's gonna be really fun cutting drywall pieces at perfectly angles and then get it up there and then secure it all by myself. So that'll be fun. Or get up that wall, do any remaining insulation downstairs, and get everything prepped so that next week with help, I can get essentially drywall slammed up to the ceiling so that I can do blown in insulation and call for my insulation inspection. And we are off to the races at that point with finishing the new do. It's fantastic. I'm very excited. Okay, I got one board in, but it's the biggest one. It's the biggest one that's going up there. That might have been one of the most physically exerting things I have ever done. Oh man. And this whole project is getting that one 4x8 sheet of 5/8 fire code drywall, 8.5 feet in the air with all, I probably should have moved the kitchen cabinets. That's what those boxes are, is all of my kitchen cabinets. Probably should have moved those out of the way to make this easier. But I did not. But it's in. Moving on. right, I am here at the new do late at night. Had to do some other things real quick. We finally got the drywall all the way up in there, so we're up to fire code. Kind of hard to see with all the shadows. That is required for fire code now, of having a 1 hour firewall in between the units, all the way to the ceiling, in case there was a fire in an attic too. So that's interesting. It's not fire code approved yet, because I actually will have to mud and tape that, because that's their definition of finished. The actual fire code wall is it does need to be mud and taped and all the holes covered up with some mud. It's not gonna have to be pretty, which is great, because then I can do it. The day was kind of blown apart by the joys of landlording, which is that my other unit was supposed to have been winterized correctly and was not, and busted a water pipe and then proceeded to start to flood the basement. Not this house, but my other duplex. That's why this one's always called the new do, is the old duplex that we own. That's the one that busted a leak. And it's not too far away from where I'm at right now, so I was able to run over there and shut off the water. And it's just kind of frustrating to have another project pop up in the middle of still your ongoing project. It's just one of those days that feels 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. And it's nice when you get those few weeks where you can go actually 2 steps forward and then feel accomplished. But this week was 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, guys, have a great time.